Good Saturday morning, Atlanta. Welcome back into Play to Win. Can three SEC teams make it to the college football playoff? And just who are the Atlanta Falcons? We'll get to that and more. Coming up next on the fastest 30 minutes in sports, football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by your Atlanta Nissan dealers. This is it, Southern Kitchen and Barbecue, Atlanta Peach Movers, and Wayfield Foods. Welcome to Football's Play to Win with Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Falcons All-Pro offensive tackle Bob Whitfield, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, college and SEC football expert Chris Marler, 680 The Fan morning drive host Brandon Leak, Falcons All-Pro wide receiver Terrence Mathis, and your host Nikki Williams. Today's Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Montlick Injury Attorneys. Our attorneys know what it takes to win.
Good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome back in to Play to Win. Home team Brandon Leak, the 1994 Pro Bowler and former Atlanta Falcon Terrence Mathis, the 1998 Pro Bowler and former Falcon Big Bob Whitfield, and the Pro Bowler of one-liners and college football guru Chris Marler. We'll hear from Jeffrey the Edge Schechter a little bit later. Nikki Williams off this week. She'll be back next week. And gentlemen, we'll start with the get-going football question. Who is the more exciting team, the 7-0 Georgia Bulldogs or the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons? Terrence Mathis, will hand the ball off to you.
Well, I got to go with the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons, which I'm starting to call it the Cardiac Kids 2.0, because this team takes you through the whole four quarters. You cannot fall asleep whatsoever because you're going to miss something. Now, these Georgia Bulldogs playing the Sisters of the Poor every week, who cannot score against them, who cannot even make a dent in giving them any kind of game. I'd rather watch these Atlanta Falcons than the Georgia Bulldogs.
Look, I'm listening to T. Matt and what he's saying, and I'm going to tell you like this. Winning is everything, and I like what the Falcons have done in playing some grimy football and winning with an ugly style, 150 yards passing or something like that. But I still like Georgia Bulldogs. I like that 7-0 mark, especially after Alabama took that L, and we know Georgia still has to play Tennessee. So it's leading up to like, great matchup coming up. But Georgia Bulldogs, we know his name. Chris knows his name, Stetson Bennett. He's fun to watch, too.
Who's more fun to watch? It's the Falcons. I mean, listen, I love chaos and toxicity. That's what I base all my relationships off of. So, I mean, of course, that's what I want my football team. Georgia is like if you turned on Titanic and just skipped the ending. It's like, oh, they just lived happily ever after. Cool. I guess that movie sucked. Georgia's so methodically good at week in and week out that, they are not as much fun to watch the Falcons. And also the Falcons, see you later, Shanahan. Thanks for playing. We got revenge on him 6 years later, thank God.
Yeah. The shocker in college football, guys. Alabama goes down to Tennessee. We'll start with you, Chris. The Butcher of Knoxville. Is it Hendon Hooker? Is he now in the driver's seat for the Heisman Trophy Award?
So he should be, because he's played so well over the past few seasons. And I'm so glad he's finally getting his credit where credit's due. I know Bob said Stetson Bennett like a week ago, and we've all had different takes and stuff like that. That was some of the best quarterback play I've seen in the SEC in forever. It was awesome. It was a great game, and I know you guys think I'm upset because we lost, and I am, but it's fine. We buried it. Tennessee played a fantastic game. I can't wait to see what they do in Athens. But he has to be the front runner right now, or C.J. Stroud.
He's certainly not in the driver's seat by himself, but he's not in the passenger seat either. And we'll see what opportunities present themselves as they have some interesting games coming up down the road. Your hometown team report is brought to you by Montlick Injury Attorneys. When we get back, can not one, not two, but three SEC teams make it to the college football playoff? We'll tackle that when we return on Football's Play to Win.
There are so many things I admire about Montlick & Associates. I like that everything they do is from the perspective of how to get the most for their clients. The most compensation, the most benefits, the best possible care. The complexity of your case doesn't matter. They're here to help you get through a difficult time and get you the best results. If you're injured in an accident, you can reach them 24/7 at 1-800-LAW-NEED or dial #WIN from your cell phone.
The Georgia 31 Georgia area Honda dealerships dedicated to putting your Keister in a Honda. And your Keister will thank you for it because it'll be riding in comfort, style, and America's most fuel-efficient full-line automaker. And that can save your keister at the gas pumps. Not to mention every Honda is packed with high-tech safety features that keep all your little keisters safe and happy. See your North Georgia Honda dealer today. Honda gets Georgia.
It's bill paying day at the Hendersons.
Even higher than last month.
A day of dread and unwanted surprises.
We use that much water? Really?
With one notable exception.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Up high, Mr. Meter.
With the simple one price plan from Gas South, you pay the same amount every month with no deposits and no surprises.
Hey, you Gas South guys have a cell phone plan?
Gas South. The difference is good.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get $1,500 total cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
Today's SEC and ACC report is being brought to you by your Southeastern Nissan dealer.
Welcome back into football's Play to Win. Time now for our SEC ACC report, brought to you by Greater Atlanta Nissan. We've seen it before. It's almost like it's written into the contract, guys. Two teams can't get into the college football playoff if they're from the SEC. I beg the question, could this be the season that three teams get in now that Tennessee has showed up to the party, Chris Marler?
So I'm going to say, yes, it could happen. It could happen. Like if it happened last year, Tennessee was undefeated at this point, I would say there's a good chance of it. This is going to shock you, but the reason it won't happen is because I don't think that team from the SEC West is going to make it to the college football playoff, because there's no way they're getting by either one of those teams in Atlanta.
Hey, good point. Good point. I'd say what made it a more probable thing is that when USC loses to Utah, that's, one of those teams that we would like to see with Lincoln Riley in. So now where do you put the focus? Yeah, you like Tennessee, but, I think Clemson still has a little shake there. That Michigan, Ohio State's going to determine one. So I don't think you'll get three, only two maybe.
Well, I think, like you said, I don't think three either. And we're talking about an Alabama team that loses to Tennessee, and then they have Mississippi State. Then they got to go play LSU, and they have Ole Miss, and then you have the Iron Bowl at the end of the year. So they got four formidable opponents at the end of the year, finishing the season out. And I don't feel confident of them winning all 4 or 5 of the last 5 games.
Well, let me make you confident in that, okay, sir? Because I got some stats for you here. Since 2011, Bama has lost a regular season game in 6 different years. And their record in the rest of the regular season, after losing a regular season game, 29-1. And winning those games by an average of 23.5 points per game. The only time they lost was against Auburn when Tua got hurt the week before and they had to start a backup.
Yeah, Coach Saban always has those guys ready to go. Time now for our college football showdown.
Today's Showdown of the Week is being brought to you by This Is It Southern Kitchen and Barbecue. Real food for real people.
Who would have thought this would have been a big game, this part of the schedule? You have Syracuse and you have Clemson, both ranked in the top 25. Chris Marler, how is this going to determine the outcome of the ACC?
I was told that I got a week off from all the orange. I just needed 1 week for my mental health to get away from all the orange, and here we go, right back into it. No, this should be a fun game, right? I think this game should always be played in Syracuse, just because it seems like they'd be more primed for the upset. But no, both of these teams have, I think, kind of proven a lot of people wrong this year. DJU at Clemson, especially. Then Dino Babers has been fantastic up there, up at Syracuse. And Garrett Schrader is somehow a 7th-year sophomore. And I keep forgetting that COVID is just creating Hunter Renfrows everywhere. So it should be a really good game.
Yeah, 2 undefeated teams in the ACC. Somebody's going to get a loss. Somebody will be in first place. When we get back, is Georgia still the team to beat in the SEC East? We'll tackle that when we get back on football's Play to Win.
Just outside of a town called Basic is Basic Lake, where families gather together for some basic fun. And if you have the 2022 Nissan Rogue, with a VC turbo engine and 5 drive modes, you can climb above Basic and find a trail where no one else goes. The 2022 Nissan Rogue. Anything but basic.
Get 1.9% for 36 months on Rogue, or shop our inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles.
I'm Bob Whitfield, Atlanta Falcon legend, and I'm your Wayfield Foods Master Chef. When I'm down at the game, watching our Dirty Birds get ready for that competition, I like to see that tailgate firing up that grill. No matter if it's hamburgers, hot dogs, ribs, chicken, and fish, come to Wayfield, shop and compare. Experience the Wayfield difference. Celebrating 40 years in Metro Atlanta. Wayfield Foods, the meat people. Eat better, spend less.
We had a home warranty. And over the years, probably close to 80% of our problems came from heating and air situations. We had a major breakdown. So when we called the home warranty company, we had to come out of pocket $1,700. We came across reliable. One of the technicians explained to us there was a program to help change over the units. They would maintain the units for the life of the unit. It was a no-brainer for us.
Get any size furnace for just $59.99 a month.
You just bought a new house. Now you've got to move. Nobody likes to move. That's why you call Atlanta Peach Movers. Your choice for the best move. No job is too big or too small, and you can be assured your belongings will get where they need to be on time and in one piece. Our in-house training facility ensures our team is ready to offer you unmatched service and a no-hassle moving experience. For the best value in the business, call Atlanta Peach Movers for a free quote today.
Today's University of Georgia Report is being brought to you by Beaver Toyota, your fastest and smartest way to shop for your next vehicle.
Welcome back into football's Play to Win. Time now for our dog report brought to you by Beaver Toyota. We saw a fantastic offense and a fantastic finish by Tennessee, but is it disrespectful, Chris Marler, to say that the Georgia Bulldogs are still not the team to beat in the East?
Well, no one's saying that, so no, it would not be disrespectful. They're still ranked number one in the country. I feel like Tennessee, they have the best resume in the country, but I mean, I guess you can't really put them there because I don't know why. But either way, it's going to get settled on the field November 5th. I don't think that Tennessee is that far. I didn't think they'd be this far ahead where they are now. But saying that they could go into Athens and beat a Georgia team that's actually fundamentally sound and probably won't make 17 penalties over the course of a season, let alone one game, I'm not ready to say that they're that far into this rebuild.
Georgia is still the number one team in the nation, in the conference whatsoever, because of their defense. Their defense is lights out whatsoever. Stetson Bennett is playing at a Heisman pace right now. At the end of the day, you play who's in front of you, and you're supposed to beat these teams by 20, 30 points that you put in front of them. But it's going to be the matchup start, with Tennessee, Florida. We're going to see what this team is really about in those two games.
And that's what I say, is that they're going to be facing the best of the SEC, because I think with what you have in the conference with some, high-profile coaches that are actually winning, like Lane Kiffin and these other guys, guy in Tennessee, how they plan that offense, I think it just makes for an exciting run down the stretch, but you're going to have to earn that number one spot. This is not going to be handed to you. So I don't think that, Georgia's going to have just a cakewalk to stay number one. So they might catch an L some way down the line.
Yeah, their defense is going to have to be on par. Speaking of defense, how does it compare to last year? We saw a historic defense last year. They were giving up 9 points a game. Chris, they're giving up 9 points a game.
Now, listen, I'm not saying this to be critical or anything, because it is a fantastic defense. And I think once this team is a finished product and has all the, they don't have any injuries and stuff like that, especially on offense, they could still be better than last year's team and more dominant. But better than the defense? No, absolutely not. I watched Kent State go up and down the field on this team for three quarters. I saw them struggle against Mizzou at times. They're not built the same, and I understand Jalen Carter's out, but that's just not that was the best defense in the history of college football.
All right, we'll see what the Dogs do. When we get back, have the Falcons finally found their identity? We'll fly around with that when we return on football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by your Georgia Drive Chevy dealers, Chevrolet, Find New Roads, Bojangles, and Reliable Heating and Air, doing great since '78.
Linda Beaver here announcing Beaver Toyota is joining the fight with the Bulldogs to battle breast cancer. We will provide tools for early detection and critical resources to women in need, but we can't do this without your help. During the month of October, Beaver Toyota will donate a portion of the proceeds of every vehicle sale to support this great cause. We believe we can raise $50,000 for bulldogs battling cancer. But we can't win this awful battle without you. Please visit BeaverToyotaCompany.com for more details.
Back again, huh? You must love losing.
You're buying the next one.
You gotta win one first.
Okay.
Mix and match your two favorites for $3.29 at any size soft drink for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Just outside of a town called Basic is Basic Lake, where families gather together for some basic fun. And if you have the 2022 Nissan Rogue, with a VC turbo engine and 5 drive modes, you can climb above Basic and find a trail where no one else goes. The 2022 Nissan Rogue, anything but basic.
Get 1.9% for 36 months on Rogue, or shop our inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles.
Every day, we roll out before sunrise. Our dedication is what makes us reliable. Heating, cooling, hot water, plumbing, and electrical. Our results make us always reliable.
Get any size furnace for just $59.99 a month.
It's been a long time coming. Reuniting with family and gathering with friends. We can have that barbecue, go to those concerts, and yeah, host those big parties. Let's not lose another minute of precious time. Let's celebrate with peace of mind. Visit itsthatsimplega.com to learn more. The COVID-19 vaccine and booster. It's that simple.
Today's Atlanta Falcons report is being brought to you by your Georgia Drive Chevy dealers. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Welcome back into Football's Play to Win. Time now for our Falcon report brought to you by Georgia Drive Chevy. And T-Matt, have the Falcons finally found an identity? We've been looking for that. Is it going to be offense? Is it going to be defense? Is it going to be throwing? Is it going to be running? Have they found an identity, and do you like it?
Well, they fooled me in the preseason. I thought it was going to be balls flying up and down the field, big plays by Drake London and Pitts. But what they did was slow the game down. What they done found out, if we keep other teams' offense on the sideline, we have a chance to win. As we talked about last week, Mariota will have to complete 65 to 70% of his passes in this type of passing scheme for this team to win football games. He went out and did 90 plus this last week. And that's how you're going to win games. You're going to pound them, but when you have to throw the ball, you have to complete at a high percentage to win football games in the National Football League.
And T, that's where I see the biggest problem is I know those linemen up front, they like to go grimy style and pound and get downfield on run blocks. But I still see some vulnerability in just straight passing. So as long as the Falcons offense stays ahead of the sticks and stays ahead in the game and controls the clock and tempo where they don't have to get into a drop back shootout with a Joe Burrow, I think they'll have much success. But I still feel they have a vulnerability if they got to go 4 wides with no extra backfield help and those tackles have to protect because they've been giving up a little bit of pressure and a little bit hits on the quarterback.
Well, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. But listen, figure all that stuff out moving forward. Make sure the identity this last Sunday was just running the football and showing Kyle Shanahan that if you just run the football, it takes time off the clock. Bill O'Brien, I hope you're listening too, because you could use that lesson as well. So yeah, we'll figure out the identity later. It's 2022. We can just be whoever we want to be at this point.
Bob, styles make fights. Is this a bad matchup for the Falcons? T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Falcons offense has been worrying about scoring points. What about the defense? A lot of banged up birds in the secondary.
Well, that's what you're going to have to look at because you're going against a receiving core that can light you up, especially with the matchup with Burrow letting the ball fly in all different angles because he got 3 weapons out there. But I think also Cincinnati's vulnerable as well. You can get some pass rush on them. I don't think the Falcons need to overwhelmingly blitz. I think that they can get there with the front 4, with Grady Jarrett definitely pushing up that middle, so that I think that they can make this game very competitive and actually slow it down, like he said, and keep Burrow on the sideline.
Exactly. I agree with you, Bob. You got to keep Joe on the sideline. You have to keep Joe on the side. If you don't keep Joe on the sideline, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah, you're right about that, T-Matt. We'll find out soon and very soon. All right, when we get back, we'll tell you what the biggest storyline is coming up for NFL Sunday when we return on Football's Play to Win.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job. so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get $1,500 total cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
This is it. Our grandmother Leah had a special gift when it came to tasting food.
She could identify every single ingredient.
Honey, our vegetables are made with real ingredients. The perfect blend of seasoning. You know your grandmother taught me how to bake her sweet potato pie with one ingredient that sets us apart.
What's the ingredient? Get your This Is It now. Order online for pickup or get it delivered through Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, or Easy Cater. If I guess when you give it to me?
I was at work. I was putting plywood on the roof of a home, and the walkboard collapsed. I had 7 spinal fractures, and it destroyed the inside of my hip. I consulted Motley. I thought that they would best represent my well-being. They stayed in constant contact. They sent me to the best orthopedic surgeons. I would recommend Motley to anyone I know.
Just outside of a town called Basic is Basic Lake, where families gather together for some basic fun. And if you have the 2022 Nissan Rogue, with a VC turbo engine and 5 drive modes, you can climb above Basic and find a trail where no one else goes. The 2022 Nissan Rogue, anything but basic.
Get 1.9% for 36 months on Rogue, or shop our inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles.
Today's NFL report is being brought to you by Reliable Heating and Air, doing great since '78.
Welcome back into football's Play to Win. Time now for our NFL report, brought to you by Reliable Heating and Air. What is the biggest storyline this Sunday for football watchers this week, Terrence Mathis?
It is Tua returning to the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of protection he's going to receive from his offensive line. And it's going to be interesting on the second case is how these defensive linemen and linebackers are going to hit him. And thirdly is how the referee is going to call the game. So it's all plays into his favor a little bit, because now everybody's going to be kind of gentle with him when they try to hit him, and the referee's going to look more closely when he does get hit. So he can sit in the pocket, I believe, and just deliver the ball and feel confident that no one's going to hit him.
Hey, you might be right, T, but I tell you like this. I was just thinking about all the big names that we grown to love, like the Aaron Rodgers, you know, and even what's happening out in Las Vegas with Derek and Devontae, is that they're losing right now. So the big names are losing, and after you saw Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay just looking horrible, it's now a young QB league. So it's the rise of the young QBs in this league that is creating all the excitement.
Also, T-Matt, I love what you said there, but I got to correct you here. There's no way that they're going to give Tua the benefit of those calls. They'll be like watching on their iPads just video of Tom Brady doing something, probably just like Tai Chi at this point. My biggest takeaway is that, and I'm just going to say this strictly as somebody that, I'm not the biggest NFL guy, but I do know this, at least for the last 7 days, the best quarterback in the NFC South resides in Atlanta, Georgia. And I know that bar was set very low, but we're there, and we're going to just luau under it, I guess. And, retire, Tom.
Well, for me, it's going to be the Broncos. If they lose to the Jets, they'll be 2-5 and their season's over. They need to get themselves together quickly. Everybody's talking about the NFC East and the Eagles and the Cowboys. Bob, what about the Giants? Everybody's overlooking these guys.
New York Football Giants, the G-Man. What you see is a remarkable showing by Danny Dimes. They were talking about getting rid of that quarterback who they drafted out of Duke, but Danny Dimes is doing just enough, along with Saquon and that defense making plays, to get the Giants right there, 5-1.
The new head coach for the Giants have this team believing. Revitalized Barkley's career. Jones is playing at a high level, and that defense is keeping them in football games. So to me, right now, the Giants are for real.
Yeah, you can't overlook these guys. NFC East is far from decided. When we get back, we'll get to the best picks in the nation with Jeffrey the Ed Schechter when we return on football's Play to Win.
We break a sweat to get you feeling comfortable. Our commitment is what makes us reliable. Heating, cooling, hot water, plumbing, and electrical. Our results make us always reliable.
Get any size furnace for just $59.99 a month.
Wouldn't it be awesome if you could buy your next vehicle without going to the dealership? Now you can with Beaver Direct. It's fast and really simple. Log into BeaverToyotaComing.com, click on Beaver Direct, quietly shop from hundreds of vehicles, obtain a credit approval and trade appraisal in minutes.
It's bow time. Get fired up tonight because Bojangles has your dinner covered. Southbound, scratch made. Not one of these, but one of these. That's more home cooking for your money. Order your family meal on the app tonight. It's bow time.
Just outside of a town called Basic is Basic Lake, where families gather together for some basic fun. And if you have the 2022 Nissan Rogue, with a VC turbo engine and 5 drive modes, you can climb above Basic and find a trail where no one else goes. The 2022 Nissan Rogue. Anything but basic.
Get 1.9% for 36 months on Rogue, or shop our inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles.
Today's college and NFL predictions report is being brought to you by the Georgia Department of Public Health. Vaccination is the best tool to protect lives and stop the spread of COVID-19 in Georgia.
Time now for our college and NFL predictions brought to you by the Georgia Department of Public Health. Time now to go to a man who's more accurate than an atomic clock, Jeffrey, the Ed Schechter.
Well, before I do my picks, this just in, because they don't have a defense and they can't run the ball, Alabama's moving to the Mountain West Conference, where they play that kind of ball. Now to the games. Mississippi's getting to the tough part of their schedule. They're a 1.5 point underdog at LSU. They should beat LSU. Take the 1.5. Wisconsin stinks. That's all I can say about them. Purdue's a tough team, and I like Purdue at the 2.5. The most competitive games are played in that Big 12 conference. I like Oak State as a home dog. They only lost 1 game this year over Texas. Go with Oak State. In the pros, can you imagine that Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite over the Giants? After losing everybody, the Giants beating Baltimore. Take the Giants with the 3. Baltimore has had a hard time closing out games. Fourth quarter's been a disaster. It won't be this game. They will kill Baltimore, give the 6.5 points. And here's another slaughter. Pollard and Elliott will run right through Detroit. I don't care who's playing quarterback for Dallas. Give the 7. And good luck, everybody.
The man will get you right. That'll do it for this week's episode of Football's Play to Win. For the Falcon greats and Pro Bowlers, Terrence Mathis and Big Bob Whitfield. For the 8th grade spelling bee winner, Chris Marler. I'm home team Brandon Leak. We'll see you next week here on Football's Play to Win.
Today's show has been brought to you by Beaver Toyota, Montlick Injury Attorneys. Our attorneys know what it takes to win. And McDonald's.